Oh, hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass, irreverent gaming podcast from Affable Idiots. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Gumby, and today I have with me the beautiful, magnificent, fantastic Chad Michael Ennis.
No one's called me beautiful since my mom said that this morning. I'm so flattered.
That was very long ago. You're very welcome. Welcome to episode 222. That is a palindrome.
It is. It's 222 on the 22nd of August. It's never going to happen again.
In 2021, but there's two twos in there.
Oh my God, you said tutu. You remember as a kid when you would accidentally say tutu, like the words two together, and then people would make fun of you so bad? Like, how embarrassing.
I mean, we still get that with doo-doo as an adult man.
Yeah, but doo-doo's funny. Tutu's just like a frilly skirt.
I don't do ballet. I wear a leotard, not a tutu. You can catch us live on twitch.tv/AffableIdiots Sunday evenings at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the correct time. You can also catch us on YouTube and podcast services everywhere on Tuesday mornings. All right, and upcoming on today's show, I'm hosting, by the way. This is fun. Thanks for letting me do this. I've always enjoyed it. I'm a rambling idiot. It's a good time. Upcoming on today's show, Halo doesn't have co-op at launch. Gasp, please. All of the Pokemon Present news broken down by two Pokemon experts. Yeah, us two right here. A new video game called Skyrim is being released this fall. We get boots on the ground with Call of Duty Vanguard.
I see what you did there.
And Jeff Keighley is closing out the summer with Open Night Live. It'll be a good show. A good time.
I see. I see. Closing the summer with Open Night. Okay. Very good wordplay.
All of these have wordplay except for the first one because I didn't think about it till the second one. And I was like, I'm going to go hard. But
that's great.
At first, I didn't think about it. That's how my mind works. It's all over the place. I guess we can start with our main quest tonight. Halo Infinite won't have campaign co-op or Forge at launch. This comes from Wesley Ian Poole at Eurogamer. I'm also very bad at names. You're going to find this out real quick.
So as long as you say it confidently, it doesn't matter.
No one will know. Joseph Staten, head of creative for Halo Infinite, said it was a really tough decision to delay both modes. Co-op campaign and the user creation tool Forge aren't ready and will be released later next year as part of the seasonal roadmap. I believe co-op is first and then Forge will be later. So within 3 and then 6 months of launch. 343 is still 100% committed to releasing this holiday, both campaign and our first season of free-to-play multiplayer. So the game, they're committed. It's coming out this holiday. They had to cut some features to make it in time. Sounds like to me, but I'm gonna throw it to you. What do you think?
Yeah, I think what really shocked me right at first is my friend Matt, fan of the show. You've seen him several times on the show. He immediately just responded with, "Remember when this game was supposed to fully launch last year?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right." And then they delayed, and now they're delaying like not half the game. Admittedly, this is a very small portion of the game, which I think is totally okay. It is unfortunately the way that most of the way that I enjoy the Halo franchise is playing co-op with friends. And so it's the part of the game I was looking forward to, which is unfortunate, but it is by far the least important part of the game, I think. Because no one looks at the Halo franchise and says, "Oh my gosh, do you remember that one with the amazing campaign? Then that's all we did with it." And no, they look at it and they're like, "Oh my gosh, the competitive multiplayer, the different modes and online for the first time with Halo 2 and all that fun." Like that's what people really look back at these for. And that's shipping. And I honestly forgot until today that was free-to-play multiplayer coming with it too, which I think is going to take the world by storm. So I think it was the right call. Rather than delaying the whole game, to just delay those two things. Honestly, I also didn't even know the Forge existed until they told us it was going to be delayed. And so it really doesn't bother me. But yeah, I think what matters for the game is coming out this year. And I think that's important for Xbox. And at the very least, it's perception by people, and having this big AAA game around holiday and starting to like build up their first party stuff. But I probably now will only dip into the multiplayer content until the co-op campaign launches.
Interesting. Yeah, I have played every Halo game and beaten every Halo game. I've never played one co-op once. So this
Really?
didn't bother me. This did not bother me at all. I think I played a little bit of 3 co-op with some friends at some point. It sucks it's not here, but again, I would rather them be like, hey, we know now this is what's going to hold us back. You're still getting it. Like, they're not keeping it from you. You're getting it later, and the game gets to launch on time. So, like, it sucks, but if it was me, I'd rather launch the thing and take out this one feature that I'm sure some people use, but I'm sure it's not the number one most used feature of the Halo games. And then, like, for Forge, that'll be cool to have more content down the line where it's like, oh, hey, been playing multiplayer. It's been awesome, good time. Oh, now Forge is here. We can just start making our own stuff. So I can see why people is upset. Doesn't personally, we're talking about number one here. I don't care that co-op is delayed, but
Yeah.
I can see people have an issue. But if we get it this fall or holiday, excuse me, whatever. I'm nonchalant about it because it doesn't affect me. Just hope that they can get it out, and that this necessary move was so that they could get the game out. And I don't think it'll be as big a deal. Once that game came out, it's not gonna be a big deal.
Right. Do you think that it's? I mean, it looks a little bit of like egg on your face on Microsoft's stand, like from their viewpoint, where last time when they launched Halo 5 Guardians without co-op at all, like built into the game, they were like, hey, by the way, when every Halo game from here on out will have co-op as part of the campaign. Like, we realized we made a mistake with 5. And now they're like, hey, this one's not launching. Oh, right away with co-op. But I just think it's interesting that that's the part that they chose to cut. Though I understand, having this, it's more of a narrative with like differing choices, like almost a little bit of open world. It's non-linear. And I can understand why that can be difficult to do co-op for the first time in a franchise. So I don't know. I think it's so interesting that the very first game after they committed to doing co-op with all the campaigns from here on out is now delayed with co-op.
Doesn't have co-op from the jump. Yeah. I'm with you. I wish they would have had it just so that we didn't have to have like a negative thing about, on the news cycle or whatever. Yeah. But I mean, it's fine. It'll come out. I'm with you. Yeah. They're like, after 5, we'll never make that mistake again. They're like, we're still not making the mistake. You just got to wait. So that is funny how that worked out. But again, it'll come out this holiday. Hopefully we'll have a good time. And I'm with you. Like, the multiplayer is the main thing that I'm going to focus on anyways. So it's free to play too.
I'm still interested. Not interested. I'm concerned a little bit. This and Sony with Horizon. Oh no, Sony did officially delay Horizon Forbidden West, right? That got delayed to next year.
I think that it was, we're on track, but we'll see what happens. And then all the like Grub and all those were like, hey, it's definitely delayed. So I don't know if they've officially said it, but I think it's basically confirmed.
Yeah,
I might be incorrect, but I think that's what happened.
It's this Halo Infinite and Horizon are two that like we're very close. And we don't have a date. And it's that time where, like, you got to start choosing what games you're going up against. We have a date for a lot of the other big hitters coming out this fall. And so to be the last 2 weeks of August right now and not having a date for Halo Infinite and when this is going to launch, I feel like that's a sign that with only part of their game, to be honest, most of their game ready to launch this holiday, but still not even have a deadline of when they think they can have it finished by, that gives me a little bit of pause. And it makes me think, like, is this going to launch a little bit broken like Master Chief Collection did with all of their stuff, and then they're just going to make it better over time? Or is this actually going to launch with 2 really polished parts of the game, the free-to-play multiplayer, the single-player campaign, and then they're going to introduce something else? Like, I'm concerned about the state of release, even if they do manage to hit this holiday, just based on that.
My guess is that they really want to nail the multiplayer, which is, from what everyone says about the flight, is that the multiplayer is solid. I heard
nothing negative coming out of that with that test weekend like 2 weekends ago. Only positive things, which is great.
Absolutely. So I think they're going to double down and make sure that is good. I wouldn't be shocked if the campaign came in like parts, where it's like, hey, we've got part 1 and wait 3 months from when co-op comes out for part 2, or I don't know. I'm not saying that necessarily they're going to do that. I think that they're going to make it come out this fall, and I think one part of that game will be really, really good, and they're hoping every part of the game is. I could see like the campaign being like a 7 out of 10 to people, and then the multiplayer is so good, and then people were like, the campaign was fine, but the multiplayer is great. We'll see. I mean,
which has been kind of what the last few Halo games have been anyway, right? Like, exactly, no one said Halo 4's campaign is amazing. No one said Halo 5 campaign is amazing, right? But everyone still played the games and liked them because of the multiplayer.
Yeah. And again, you're going to play that for free, and I'm going to get the campaign for free because it's on Game Pass. So
that's right. Hashtag Game Pass.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, I was worried about this game for a while. I'm less worried about the gameplay. But I'd still, like, if people are like, do you think Halo will be Game of the Year? I'm like, probably not. I think it'll probably be on people's short list, maybe. But I don't think it's going to be in such a good state that it's going to be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing of all time. I think people are going to really like it. But, you know, people really liked Apex. That didn't win Game of the Year. But it doesn't need to. Like, it just needs to be fun. So we'll see when it gets out here. All right. And next, I guess we're going to move on to playtime. We're going to get our toys out of the box, put them back in the box because that's an antique box. Don't put your grubby hands on that, kids. And we're going to get on the floor with our playbooks.
With what was the name of the book? The Wonder Book? The PlayStation Wonder Book? With the PlayStation Move controller? That's what I'm going to get out of my toy box.
Pull out those Move controllers and Wonder Book, everybody. It's going to be a great time. Chad, you can go ahead and lead us off. What have we been playing lately, man?
Speaking of the great value of Xbox Game Pass, 2 titles I played this week for free with that. Well, not free, included with my subscription of $1 for 3 months of Game Pass. I played 12 minutes and I played Hades. I'll talk about Hades first because I know you played 12 minutes, and then we'll get into a discussion about 12 minutes. But Hades finally came to Xbox and PlayStation, and I spent a lot of the last year hating the game because it was up against Last of Us Part 2 for Game of the Year. And though I had never touched it, and I really like the studio that it comes from, it just like anything that was going to possibly beat Last of Us Part 2 had to be the devil. No pun intended. But so I hated the game. And then when it didn't win, I was like, whew, thank goodness. Now I might be able to play this unbiased. So I came to Xbox Game Pass this last Friday, and I gave it a chance. And I really, really enjoy this game. It is super stylized, just like the... what is the name of that? The game dev who makes this game?
Supergiant?
Bastion. Yeah, Supergiant. It is that same style, you know, the isometric like transistor and Bastion. It looks gorgeous. It plays really, really well. It's a roguelike, which I found out that, you know, I don't always hate roguelikes now. I thought that I just always hated them because I hate failing, and that it's basically the whole mechanic of roguelikes is just you lose all the time. But it's dope. I beat the first boss. I'm enjoying the mechanics of like choosing which path you want to go down based on the types of rewards that you feel like you want to collect. And do I want to collect a different weapon at the beginning now? Then I might want to get these purple gems. Do I want to, you know, collect more whatever gold buys? Then maybe I want to go buy gold. Or do I need health in the middle of this? So there's a lot of different strategies in there too. Like the fact that your health doesn't regen without like specific like power-ups and stuff like that. So like you have to choose to say, I'm going to not go to treasure so I can go this way and get health when it shows up. But it's great. It's a great game. And I've beat the first boss so far, played a little bit of the second world, but I can honestly say that I have no clue how this game so far could come anywhere close to beating Last of Us Part 2. And it was such a concern last year for Game of the Year at the Game Awards that I was 100% ready to try to accept that it would win. But it's fantastic, but I don't think it's anywhere near Game of the Year material so far. It could get, you know, narratively super complex and the characters, and I'm blown away by it. But I feel like so far what I've played, which is like an hour and a half maybe of it, it's a fantastic game, but not anywhere close to Last of Us Part 2. Have you played it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
This was on my Game of the Year list last year.
All right.
Over Last of Us. I'm just kidding. It wasn't over Last of Us. Actually, I didn't vote for Last of Us because I don't vote for games I hadn't played yet. So, but the reason that people like this game so much was because people are horny and all the characters are very hot. The gameplay is fantastic. The art's great. The thing about this game is that it takes the mechanics of a roguelite where it's like fail, upgrade a little bit, and keep going at that. And it ties that into narrative. You're going to get to a point where you're playing, like, a failing gives you not only like rewards to be better next time, but it gives you narrative. And this is a thing that no other roguelike does. That's why people like this game so much. You've only played an hour so far. Keep going at it. There's going to be a point where you're going to be so invested in what every character is doing. You're just like, I got to keep going and figuring out what's going on here. That's why I think that was on so many people's Game of the Year list, is because it seems it's like, oh, it's a very, very good roguelike. And then it's like, oh, no, the narrative is actually super good too. And It's told through that like you're gonna die, and it plays into the narrative of you're playing a roguelike, and they give that back to you in narrative and characters. And the characters are all great. All the voice acting is great. The characters are all fantastic. Keep going at it. Like, it's fun, but you're gonna get something more out of it once you learn a little bit more about the story.
Okay. I'm excited. This is you pointed out too, I think, why I like it. I like making progress in a game and feeling like I'm getting better. And because in this version of this roguelike type experience, you can upgrade things that carry over from run to run, and you do unlock things that allow you to get better with each attempt. Like, that's, I think, what is bringing me into it more than traditional like Rogue Legacy or something like that would, or Binding of Isaac or something like that.
Yep, that's very good. Keep at it. I'm telling you, you might not think it's better than Last of Us 2, but you're gonna be like, oh, I can understand why people would think this.
All right. I also played Metroid Fusion because it's our barf game this month. Backlog accomplishment with Respawn and Friends. So it's the game we pick, well, the game you pick as Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/respawnaimfire for us to play and talk about. I'm playing it on my Game Boy Advance with the Game Boy Advance cartridge, and it's not the SP, so it doesn't have a backlight, but so I've got that awful dinky worm light on top. But I am,
little curly one?
Yep. I am getting a love and an appreciation for playing things on that really tiny handheld again, and also playing just these Game Boy games. So I'm really excited whenever, the Analog Pocket, the like plays Game Boy games, Game Gear games, stuff like that, all like natively, can do it in 4K and hook up to your TV. Like, it looks like a little Game Boy Pocket, but it's coming out in October, and pre-orders have been sold out for a long time, but they're going to open up more. As soon as they do, now I'm going to take all of these games that I've got, and instead of playing it on my tiny backlightless Game Boy Advance, I'm going to play it on my 4K TV, and it's going to be great. So it's given me a new appreciation for that. But I also was really excited for 12 Minutes, which also came to Game Pass, launched on Game Pass day one. I've been really interested in this game even before they announced, I think it was last year, they announced the new voice cast with James McAvoy and Daisy Ridley and Willem Dafoe. It's something that has always been on my radar. It looks like a nice, cool little indie dev game with a really interesting narrative and solving a crime. And then this is something that I could not finish. I could not bring myself to get invested in. I'm sure, because it sounds like from Twitter that you really, really, really liked it, but I could not get past the presentation of it. I'm a person that's like all about, like, it has to look good and run good. It doesn't have to necessarily have the best graphics on the planet Earth, but the character animations for me were really clunky, and like the way that they moved around each other, the two characters, like trying to figure out where they were going to go and how they interact with objects. And then the dialogue, it's like the epitome of it sounds like they were recording every single line in isolation in a room with no context whatsoever. So I could be asking my wife a question, and she like escalates and gets really heated, and then I ask something else that's maybe even related to the question I asked her, and she's like, now completely calm, and she says something completely like it's not a natural flow to any of the conversations that I have in there. And I just don't find the deliveries of the line to be particularly good from any of the characters so far, even though they're all like really accomplished Hollywood actors. So it was really tough for me to get into the game from that standpoint. I couldn't get past the voice acting, the animations, and the fact that I didn't realize it was going to be like a point and click adventure game. Like even the old school, you click on everything, you can Skyrim things, you can pick up literally everything in the room, even though you don't need it. Like plates, well, maybe you do end up needing it to figure out everything, but forks, plates, cups, everything. But the point and click part of it, I feel like was too imprecise on an Xbox controller to really function well, especially when you had to like pick up little tiny things like the knife that's also right next to the drawer or the refrigerator or the sink, and you have to like finagle the thumbstick, and it's too responsive. And so I had a lot of issues with the presentation of it, and I played about an hour of it, and I couldn't get past it. The puzzle aspects of it, trying to figure out like what's going on. I saw the allure of it, and I saw where it might go and get interesting, but I could not get past the presentation of it. But you had an opposite reaction, I think. So how did you like it?
I think it's very good, is what I would say. I think I might have said like great on Twitter. Maybe I'm a little bit lower on it now, but I still think it's very good. I would definitely agree with the. You're right. They have big name actors. I would say each loop makes the best actor in the game is Willem Dafoe, without a doubt.
Who's only there for like 3 seconds at the end of every loop.
Well,
or maybe not.
Depends.
If you get further, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing is, it's a art house indie movie puzzle game where Willem Dafoe is absolutely the star of it. So I've been looking online and seeing reviews and impressions on Twitter and stuff, and it's either it's a thing you were super into and really liked, or it's a thing that you're just like your problems. Like it I don't think it looks the greatest too. I'm with you on that. It definitely feels like it's made for PC. Everything you said is valid, absolutely, and it's definitely like with people who go to see indie art house movies all the time. They're like, these are the greatest things ever. People are like, I don't care about that. That's awful. That's trash. It's that thing, but in video game form, and I'm more on the liked it side.
To be clear, I'm exactly like I went and saw The Lighthouse, and I was like, I didn't get this movie, not for me. So,
either you're gonna think it's the greatest thing ever, or you don't like it. Like that, there's no in between. But it happened to hit for me. I beat the game in one night. I just kept going and going and going because I love the time loop mechanic of it. I guess what I'm with you. I think Daisy Ridley's the worst part of the game as an actor. I like Daisy Ridley as an actor, but
I honestly didn't even recognize it was her. Like I knew she was in it, but I didn't realize until like 20 minutes. Like, oh wait, is that supposed to be Daisy Ridley? Is that her?
She's doing an American accent, which is weird because
awful.
we know she's British. Yeah. And James McAvoy, I think he's fine. Most of the game is more interesting once you get loops deeper and you're not just like trying to figure out what you're doing. Once you get into the mystery of the game, that's where like the performances change and everything changes. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything here or anything, but Willem Dafoe is the MVP for a reason because there are multiple things that he does in ways that he acts that are crazy. It's like the Green Goblin is going to murder me. This is a great time. So yeah, and I like the point and click stuff. I like it because, again, it's definitely more precise on a PC. But when you start the game, everything you can interact with is in the room already. There's nothing that gets added later. So you being able to pick up the spoon, the picture on the fridge, that is what you have. That's your sandbox. And that stuff might not mean anything now, but it'll mean stuff later. And I just had a great time figuring out the mystery. That's my main thing. If it was just 100%, I'm going to grade this on gameplay. I mean, the gameplay is very light. I can't argue with that, but just it was the writing and like the story that they concocted for me to do, which is what the part that I like so much. I love that story in that game, and then the ending and the twist is, oh boy, do not go on Twitter and look at those threads because they'll spoil the game for you. But man, it's wild.
Maybe I'll just watch someone play it for me so that I don't have to touch everything and do everything, but I can still experience all the parts that I want to experience.
If you know what you're doing, I think you beat the game in 11 loops, I believe is what it is. Damn, if you know exactly what to do. So
it took me like 11 loops to figure out how to time the thunderstorm to prove that
Oh, you're trying to prove to your wife. Yeah. No, there's we could definitely talk more about this game. I think there's people on both sides, but I enjoyed it for the mystery and Willem Dafoe specifically. So I really liked it. I would suggest it, but again, you got to go in knowing this is an art house fucking point and click game. So if you already know, if you're like, I only play Call of Duty and Madden, like, well, that's not gonna be for you, my guy. I don't know what to tell you. But I think there's things there. I think, especially for the price of nothing, I think it's worth giving it a try if you have that service. And either you're gonna like it or you're gonna love it. It's definitely. I mean, it's got Willem Dafoe. It is the lighthouse of video games.
Yeah, that's right.
Put that on Twitter.
Well, from what I know, no seagulls yet, or no jerking off. Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I do know, but
I can't pick up a seagull from the beginning of the game anywhere in the rooms, as far as I know. So,
no, there's not a seagull in the room.
Okay.
All right. Well, that is one thing I've been playing. Another thing I've been playing. I mean, I wanted to do it anyways, and then listening to Barf, you guys convinced me. You don't have to convince me of a game I love anyways. Red Dead Redemption 2, partner. Arthur Morgan. Me and Arthur Morgan going on one more job. I've been playing the online because there's a crazy thing where Twitch Prime just gives you so much stuff all the time. And I just log on. It's like, oh, you have like $3,000. And in Red Dead Online, that's like a lot of money.
Yeah, I was like comparing that to GTA where like every month you log on and get $1 million.
Yeah, it's just like so much money. So I'm just like, oh, I've been having fun playing that. I just jump in once in a while, do some moonshine missions, whatever. Just have fun going around. I love that game, Wild West. And I started doing the story again. And apparently I missed a lot of stuff on my first playthrough. So I've been having a good time doing that. I didn't do any of the gunslinger stuff, which is right at the beginning of the game. And I'd never done it before. I was like, oh, let me go fight all these gunslingers. So playing a good amount of Red Dead 2. I'm going to get back into that. Take it slower this time. First time it came out, I beat that game in 3 days.
Holy shit.
Maybe 4. It was a long weekend from work, so I don't remember exactly. I played a lot of Red Dead, let me tell you.
They had a new season in Red Dead Online like a week or two ago, right? What do the seasons look like in that game? Because I played a little bit of it, but I have no idea what changes in a season.
Well, I just know that they added more content. Like I said, I was doing Moonshiner missions, which was added a couple seasons ago, where it's just like, here's like a new... You've played GTA Online, right?
I've watched people play GTA Online.
Okay. Pretty much they're like, hey, here's a new job or whatever. It's like, here's a new career path. Here's a thing to do. So like they had like, oh, now you can run a moonshine and, sell liquor at a bar. Like you own a bar. And then there's one that's like the naturalist, where it's like, you got to go out in nature, and the bounty hunter, or, whatever. And they had a new one. It's like crimes and opportunities. But they added a 4-player wave-based like defense mode, where it's like you and 3 people. I think we only got to 8 waves. I'm assuming you win the game at 10, but it's just like every wave they add more dudes. So you start, it's like 14 dudes, like whatever, that's nothing. And then on wave 8 it was like 73 dudes. And they had like Gatling guns and stuff, and I was like, oh boy, yeah, I didn't beat it. I'm assuming 10 beats it, but I was like, yeah, that was a fun time just to play a new mode. So yeah, that online, I'm not super into Rockstar Online stuff. Like I'll jump in once in a while and play for like a weekend and then never touch it again for 6 months. But I have a good time, and I just want to get back into single player mode and hang out with Dutch and all that. So I'm playing some Red Dead. And the last thing I've played, which I've discovered is one of the greatest video games that no one's ever played, is a little game called Coffee Talk. You ever heard of this?
Is this the Dana Carvey SNL skit in game form?
I don't think so.
Welcome to Coffee Talk. You're on Coffee Talk. No?
No, I mean, there might be a reference in the game. Coffee Talk is a like visual novel-ish kind of game, where it's just a lot of conversations or whatever, but you're running you're only open at night time. It's only open from like midnight to like 6 a.m. In futuristic Seattle. Well, it's 2020, but it's also like a world full of like fantasy monsters. So like when you start the game, it's like an elf is talking to his girlfriend Succubus, and you're having these conversations with these characters, hanging out with these characters, and then you make coffee. And it's just, I'm not really a visual novel dude. I've never really been it, but I've had a friend, shout out to Joe, who really liked this game. And I was like, oh, apparently I own it. I don't know when or why or how, but I own this game. I'm like, it's chill, man. It's like, hey, let's sit down. We'll talk to our customers. We'll have a good time. There's fantasy monsters that work outside. And you just hang out with these characters, and they're all nice and charming, and you help them with their problems, and you draw a little latte art. And he's like, that's awful. I'm like, you're right. This is trash. This doesn't look like a leaf at all. It's just a real chill game. And I was like, yeah, let me try that out, because I needed something low stress. So I would suggest anyone try it out if that sounds interesting at all.
Dope. I have a correction to make. It was not Dana Carvey. Dana Carvey was the like church person. It was Mike Myers. Who played the Coffee Talk person.
I love Mike Myers. What's that movie where he's the love guru? The love guru?
Yeah. What's that movie where he's the love guru and he goes around, he's like a guru of love. It's Love Guru. Yes, that one.
No, that movie's awful. Shrek is great though. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our quest log. I'm gonna let you take point on this one, because as we talked before the show, I like the Pokemons, but I cannot pronounce half these names in this generation, because I did not play this generation of Pokemon. So I'll let you take over for this story.
Dope. Yes, everything announced at Pokemon Presents, says Michael McWhorter at Polygon. Up front, I will also say, this is the Sinnoh region, Diamond and Pearl. This is the first generation of this is Generation 4, I think it is. The first generation of Pokemon that I've never played. And then there are a lot from here that I don't get. However, I am an avid Pokemon Go player still, every single day for the last 5 years. So I am familiar with a lot of these Pokemon because of that. So there was a Pokemon Presents this week. It unveiled quite a few things about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, Pokemon Unite, and Legends Arceus. They started with a couple of things that, like, not a majority of the people care about, like the fact that Pokemon Unite, the MOBA that came out on Switch, is now coming to mobile on September 22nd, which is apparently, from the reviews of the Switch version, not great. They made some updates for Pokemon, I didn't write it in here, Cafe Mix, something like that. And there's some updates coming to it, but again, not our audience. But a couple of things that might be of note to people who listen to our show. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, they went into some details about it. They're going to have the same mini games from the originals, but they are adding in a couple of new things with this generation. They have the customization options for your, like, you can change your outfit for your avatar, your hat, your clothes, all that fun stuff. A lot of the same stuff you've been able to do in Pokemon Go and with the most recent generation, Sword and Shield. And then another interesting one I thought that they added was on Pokeballs, you're gonna have the ability to add stickers to them, and it's like little lightning bolt stickers or little, you know, symbols that you can just kind of put all over the Pokeballs, and then when you throw them, they have different, like, graphic effects when they open up or close and they catch things, and it's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of, this is a very specific thing, but like the transmat effects in Destiny. Whenever you respawn or, like, your ship, you know, you beam down onto a planet, there's like a little graphic thing that happens, and then your character kind of jumps onto the surface of the planet. And that's effectively what this is. You throw it out, there's customizable respawn effects based on the stickers that you chose, and then you catch whatever the hell you want to catch in it.
Do you think that there's one that's just skull and bones because their life's about to end? Or maybe not. Maybe not so fun.
I hope there's just like a bunch of dead Pokemon in one. It's just Cubone's mom all over it.
No.
Yeah, so that's coming to Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, which are two games that I'll probably pick up and play for 2 hours and then never play again, like I have with the last 3 generations of Pokemon games. If you are interested, there is a new Nintendo Switch Lite coming with Dialga and Palkia. I think I said those right.
This is why I gave the story to you, because I had no idea to say those names.
I've seen these names now. It has aligned with an in-game event in Pokemon Go where they were both in rotation and raids for a while. So yeah, I think it's Dialga and Palkia are the two legendaries there. It looks like a pretty cool Nintendo Switch Lite. The one problem with it is that it's a Nintendo Switch Lite, which has such a small, you know, group of people that it appeals to. Especially, I understand, you know, with manufacturing and things like that of the new OLED model, that it might not be something that they could manufacture a brand new one plus a customization of it at the same time. But yeah, if you're interested in and you're looking for a new light, you can pick that one up. But the thing that I think most people who might listen to the show are interested in about Pokemon is the upcoming Pokemon Legends Arceus game that's coming. I didn't write down the date, but I think it's January 28th. It's late January. We saw the trailer a while ago when they revealed it, and people were making comparisons to Breath of the Wild, and now those are pretty much, like, justified, those comparisons. It is the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon games. You are going around the world, filling out the very first Pokedex for the region. It is technically what will become the Sinnoh region, which is the generation 4 that Diamond and Pearl take place in, but it's right now called the Hisui region. And what I love about it too is that with that comes new versions of Pokemon that you know are just going to die and go extinct because we never see them in the future. So here's a bunch of new dead Pokemon.
You're right. Yeah, yep. They don't show up later. God, that's awful. Maybe they get like bred with another version, and that's the popular version. I'm just trying to think of things that's not genocide of Growlithe, you know.
Well, speaking of genocide and dead Pokemon, Basculegion is one of the new Pokemons they showed, which is an evolution of Basculin, which is a fish, and it evolves after enough of its friends die, and it absorbs their souls and becomes Basculegion, and is super strong now. So that's super dark. There's also a new Hisuian Braviary, which is a bird. There's a Hisuian Growlithe, which looks like a puffy version of Growlithe. And then there's a Wurdeer, which is an evolved version of a Stantler that looks like he has a Santa beard. So new versions of these Pokemon that you're gonna be able to play around with in this region that, again, will go extinct very soon. But the whole game is based around exploring and catching Pokemon and filling out the Pokedex. And they detailed now how that happens. You're going to obviously run around with empty Pokeballs to pick them up, but some of them will be pretty easy to catch, and they won't really mind you being there, and you can just throw your Pokeball, try to catch them, great. Some of them will run at the sight of you, so you have to be stealthy and hide in tall grass and maybe lure them with some things. And then there will be some that are just straight up aggressive. And so if you throw a Pokeball at them, great. If you throw a Pokeball that has something in it, then that Pokemon will start battling. And I think one of my favorite additions in this is the way that the battles work. They're not going to be traditionally turn-based like Pokemon games have been so far, where you take a turn, I take a turn, you take a turn, I take a turn. It is now kind of like if you think about from a lot of JRPGs, like an active time battle, like from Chrono Trigger or from some of the Final Fantasy games, where
Child of Light, I think, does something similar as well.
Yep, Child of Light as well. Mm-hmm. There are two types of attacks. You can have a strong version of attack or an agile version of attack. Depending on which one you use, determines how frequently you can attack. So if I'm battling something and it uses a strong attack, but I choose an agile attack for mine, I might be able to attack like 3 times in a row, but it does one really slow, strong version of an attack as well. So you get to choose that. And it looks like it might be every single different move in the game has a strong version of it and an agile version of it as well. And agile is just like, it's less powerful, but again, you attack more frequently. Strong is much more powerful, but it takes a longer time before you're able to do anything else as well. So that adds a cool little element of strategy into it. It mixes up the battle game a little bit too. It does kind of look like there might also be other trainers as well in the game. We didn't really see a battle with another trainer, but I get the idea that you're going to be fighting other people like you would in a normal Pokemon game too. And that's it. That's the whole rundown. Again, of all of that, I'm probably most interested in Pokemon Legends Arceus because it's a huge departure for the series, and I've just been bored with, because it's the same game that I've been playing since I was 8 years old. But anything in there interest you at all, Adam?
Yeah, the Unite stuff, don't care. Mm-hmm. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, don't care. I'm with you. Arceus, when we first saw it, I was like, oh, the game looks kind of rough. I mean, I guess it's different. That'll be interesting. Watching this trailer, I guess the second, whatever thing that they did, is much more interesting. They've just completely, whenever people were like, hey, we want a console Pokemon, and then they're like, here's Sword and Shield, where there's the one part in the middle where you can run around. It's like, okay, cool. I guess this isn't exactly what I was looking for. This one seems much more interesting. This is the most interested I've been in a Pokemon. I'm not gonna say excited, most interested I've been in a Pokemon game in a long time. I just like how they're just changing it. Like, I mean, they're changing the turn-based combat, for God's sakes. Like, yeah. I think this is really cool. I think, we'll see how it turns out, but they're very good at making games. Like, they're mostly bangers, even if they're boring, because we've been around forever. Yeah. But them changing it up and doing something completely different, it looks cool. I think this is probably a banger for Nintendo. So that'll be good if you're playing fantasy, video game league or whatever. First round draft pick right here.
Yep. Oh man, but we did get a brand new, completely reimagined experience as well coming up from Bethesda. Whew.
This is a new video game I've never heard about before. Skyrim is getting a next gen upgrade.
I think it's Skyrim. The Skyrim? I is like a Latin I. Skyrim.
Skyrim. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Skyrim is getting a next gen upgrade exactly 10 years after its original release. It's from Jay Peters at The Verge. Everyone remembers 11/11/11. You need to mark in your calendars 11/11/21 because it's coming back, baby. Skyrim Special Edition owners get a free next gen upgrade plus free Creation Club content, including fishing. New edition of the game called Skyrim Anniversary Edition is releasing, including all of the above, plus over 500 pieces of unique content from Creation Club. You can upgrade to Anniversary Edition for an unknown price. Special Edition is also on Game Pass, but that upgrade will require some sort of payment to upgrade to the new version of the game. Basically, here's a bunch of mod stuff that people have made for the new version of Skyrim. The thing that interests me most in this, Special Edition owners get free next gen. Well, I own the Special Edition, so I'm good. I guess I get this.
Yeah, so if you have that Special Edition and you just want the Series X or the PS5 patch, or the PC upgrade with all the new visuals and stuff like that, you get that, including fishing. So they brought 3 pieces of content, including fishing.
But if you want that, so that's what, again, this is silly. Skyrim is literally, I think I saw Todd Howard was talking about the other day, or maybe I don't remember. They were like, why do you guys keep releasing Skyrim? He's like, you guys keep buying it. You've literally never stopped buying this game. We're going to keep releasing because you keep on buying it. Again, this wouldn't be a big deal for me because whatever, I played Skyrim 10 years ago and then played it 5 years ago and then 6 years, whatever. I do like that, hey, next gen upgrade for free if you already own it. I don't want to take a poop on other companies who don't give me free next gen upgrades, but I love when I get a free next gen. And this is for everybody, not just Xbox people. Yeah. So I just like, we know you own this game. For whatever reason, if you don't, here's the stuff. But if you have it, just like, here's better load times, better textures, whatever. I'm not going to complain about free stuff or, very cheap content for a game that, I'll probably download in 6 months and play for another 100 hours, whatever. It's at this point, it's a meme. But again, stop buying it and they'll stop doing it. And you're not going to stop. Yeah. You're all at fault here. So it's, live your life, Todd Howard, and Skyrim.
There are a couple of things to note. One is that like the version of Skyrim you can play on your Alexa will not get the upgrade. But also notably the Nintendo Switch version, which technically was not called Special Edition when it came out, but it was Skyrim on Switch and, had all the Zelda items, stuff like that. You won't be getting fishing. Obviously, you won't get a next-gen, texture pack because Switch can't do 4K. But it's worth noting that all the Creation Club stuff is not coming to Nintendo Switch. It's just the Xbox next-gen consoles. Or sorry, let me rephrase that. Anniversary Edition's coming to last gen and this gen for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And then I do find it interesting that now that Bethesda is part of Xbox, that Special Edition is on Game Pass. But even though Anniversary Edition is like a boxed new release and it's not like an expansion or a DLC or something like that, I do find it interesting that that's not on Game Pass as well, because they maintain first party content is all going to be on Game Pass. But I don't use Game Pass frequently enough to even understand how DLC works with it. So maybe you can answer this question. If I own a Microsoft first-party game and there's DLC that comes out for it, do I still have to pay for that DLC or is that part of Game Pass?
It depends. So like for Doom, for Eternal, they have DLC packs that are not included with Game Pass. But then there's games like State of Decay where every single update that's come to that game is included with your Game Pass. Like they give you the ultimate edition of the game, so you get everything that comes with the game. Forza, you don't get the DLC stuff. I think you get like a couple of cars. You don't get like the whole car pack or the DLC, but you do get a discount. It just depends on games. Basically, if there's a game that's giving free content, you get the ultimate edition of the game and the free content. If it's a game that sells DLC, you can buy it at a discount. It's basically what I've seen from most of their games.
Okay.
So this will probably be, I was thinking like maybe 6 months they add it on, but maybe not. I don't know. They'll do that sometimes. They'll just be like, oh, hey, here's everything. But this will probably be a thing you have to buy. And again, we don't know the price yet. I don't assume it would be that much. I'm guessing $20 max, if even that. $20 probably makes sense. So we'll see it.
$20 seems steep for... Okay, so the next gen console upgrades are free. Fishing is free. Like the new mechanics are free. What you're paying for is the 500 pieces of unique content from Creation Club, which I assume is user-generated content. Mm-hmm. So you're paying for user-generated weapons and quests and things like that. Not even like Bethesda-made stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Which
$20.
There is already mod support in the game, so I guess if you wanted to get some of this stuff, it's a weird one. We'll need to see that when it fully comes out. Either way, if it's like, hey, give us $20 and we can give these people who made these mods money or whatever.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Fine. Here's your money, guys. I don't care. Live your life. Again, I just want to do it for the next gen upgrades, just so it like loads quicker and looks better.
Yeah. That's
enough for me. I don't care about the 500 pieces of content. I'm happy killing spiders in a cave, over and over again. It is just interesting this game keeps coming out. Like this, it's just like we've had multiple games in our life. Mario Kart 8, Skyrim, and GTA 5 will never stop because you keep buying it.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I think I've bought Skyrim 2 or 3 times, and I bought GTA. Well, technically I got GTA 5 for free once, but then I bought 2 more versions of the game. So, Yeah, I'm part of the problem. I mean, whatever. Free upgrades, paid upgrades, live your life, do whatever you want. Play the game or don't. I don't give a shit. Moving on, though, to some new game news, things that have not been released yet. Call of Duty Vanguard gets a November release date. Remember we talked about this last week about
We did,
man,
yeah. All these little teasy things. Now we got some
it's
real
crazy.
lifey things.
And now they're like, yo, here we are. This is from Matt Kim at IGN. Call of Duty Vanguard will be released on November 5th, cross-generation game. Narrative-focused adventure centering on a fictional spec ops. You confused me for a second. My bad.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I mean, you probably did it right, but I'm just reading it. In my mind, it has to be Spec Ops because I'm an idiot. Spec Ops team comprising members from across all the allied nations. Now, I think this is the most interesting stuff. A new multiplayer mode from Sledgehammer, which I believe is taking the lead on the campaign as well. Is the Sledgehammer, like they're the ones doing the campaign. They're also doing a new multiplayer mode, Zombies mode from Treyarch, and new Warzone map from Raven Studios. I guess we'll just go on this stuff first, and then we'll move down.
Yeah.
Again, we were talking about this last week.
Really interesting that like for a game franchise where it used to be one studio per game, it's now like to have all of the support from all of their studios going towards this one game seems really like interesting to me. I don't know whether that's a sign of like, man, one was struggling, so the others had to help out. Or whether it's like, man, this game is going to be so huge, we needed all of these teams in order to make it amazing. So I don't know what to think of that.
I mean, I think it makes sense. At this point, you keep the teams on the things that they're good at, and then the other teams go support. Because like Warzone, like this is just continuation of Warzone. This isn't a new Warzone. It's continuing. Zombies, I mean, I feel like Treyarch always does the good zombies, right?
I don't know. As I mentioned, the first Call of Duty game I've ever bought was like 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, but that has a zombies mode. I think that's a Treyarch game. I might be wrong. Yeah, it's weird to see them all working at the same time. But again, I mean, you just want to get out. We had a COVID year, people working from home. We got to get out of Call of Duty. Everyone do what you're good at. Yeah, I suppose is the way that they looked at it. The thing for me that is most interesting here, this is part of the trailer, especially we are going back to World War II. We don't know if it's an alternate history yet. We do know it's a World War II game. I like like they've seemed to be putting an emphasis on the single player mode, and it reminds me so much of like Call of Duty 2 and 3, like when 360 and PS3 were launching, and it was all like, hey, we're going to different fronts. This is Africa. We're storming the beaches at Normandy. And that was the story mode. It's like, hey, play multiple versions from across the war, and this trailer reminded me so much of those. When Call of Duty blew up and became a big thing. This is what this campaign reminds me of more than the last, 5 or 6 iterations where it was like, oh, we've got Kevin Spacey before you knew he was a bad guy, and you got exosuits, and now we're in space with Jon Snow, and now they're just like, hey, we're taking it boots on the ground, right? Going back to our roots. I think that the campaign actually looks interesting to me. I haven't cared in a long time. Even it being World War II, which is like whatever, that's overdone. But the way that it's structured seems more interesting to me. And Laura Bailey's in it, so that's never a bad thing. I like her voice.
Yeah, Laura Bailey. I'm interested in the campaign from a like. I think I'm gonna get this just because like I'm actually into zombies and into multiplayer for the first time in a Call of Duty franchise ever. But I'm gonna use the word trepidatious here just because I couldn't think of another word. But I am trepidatious about the campaign because part of why I haven't played Call of Duty or why I got burnt out on military shooters in general as a teenager is just all of them were World War II. All of them were the exactly same. They were all brown and gross, and the weapons were old and not fun to use. And now I'm playing, all the time. I'm playing Destiny, and the weapons are futuristic and crazy and do all of this really amazing things. And so to go back to World War II again, and even like I was playing Battlefield 5 the other day. Not the other day, weeks ago. I was playing Battlefield 5 and I was like, all of these guns are awful because they're old guns. So I'm not super excited about going all the way back, 70 years, however long ago World War II was now.
God, yeah. About 80 years almost.
80 years, yeah. That's not super exciting to me, but hopefully it's something new. The whole team is, team members from across all the allied nations. Like that seems like it might be interesting. This new multiplayer mode seems like it might be cool. It's kind of like a small team capture the flag kind of thing, or capture the hill, king of the hill kind of thing, maybe. which has an alpha coming up on PlayStation this weekend, the 27th through the 29th.
Yeah, I believe that was just for, you don't need PS Plus in most regions. I think it was like Germany you needed or whatever. But yeah, it's just, you're going to have a free alpha to play this new multiplayer mode for all PS4 and PS5 people. You just get it. So, I mean, we'll probably be doing that this weekend. That sounds like a fun thing to check out.
Yup.
Just a small continuation on the story. This is from Ian Walker, Kotaku. Activision's name conspicuously absent from Call of Duty Vanguard marketing. Yeah. No Activision on here. It's like, hey, Sledgehammer Games, baby. Come play Call of Duty.
Look at this cool game. Not associated with misogyny at all.
We like shooting, and the women shoot guns too. And we don't hate women or people of color at all. We're all here. It's wild. But I mean, I get it. That's why, again, I feel like this is why they waited so long, to show this game off. It's like, well, we're in a bad spot. Activision didn't make this game. We have nothing to do with it. We are just Sledgehammer. This is an indie game. They're self-publishing. Sledgehammer Games is self-publishing Call of Duty. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I think it does look interesting. I'm not, again, a huge Call of Duty dude. They've shown me enough. Again, I'll give it a free try this weekend, and they might convince me to check it out and stay long term. All right. So, upcoming events this week. We're gonna take a moment real quick. Not talk about some news items, but things that are coming up in the future. So I'm going to let you start with this one, because I don't play this game. What's going on with this Destiny 2 event?
Tuesday. In fact, by the time this episode releases, you will probably be watching this, because I assume everyone is just as interested in Destiny 2 as I am. 8 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday. There's a Destiny 2 reveal event. They're going to show off the next season, which starts like literally 2 hours after the event. But they're also showing off the next expansion, which is the Witch Queen, which got delayed until early 2022. But there are a lot of things that people are speculating might be part of it. New powers, with this most recent expansion, Beyond Light, last year, they introduced stasis and, freezing things and all of these cool new abilities that come with that, and embracing the darkness. And there are some rumors out there that like there will be a new like poison or corruption based thing shown off as a new power that we're going to be able to develop as part of the darkness. So that's coming this Tuesday. I literally, I'm not working Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and I plan on waking up, getting myself some nice yummy breakfast, sitting on the couch, watching this, and then immediately jumping into awful overloaded servers at 10 a.m. as soon as they open up and playing all this shit. I'm so I get as pumped about this as I do for some things in E3, because I've realized that Destiny 2 is just maybe one of my favorite games of all time now, and I'm happy to admit that.
I'm happy that you're happy. Now, I was wondering, my friend, they have a group that they all play Destiny, and they've been like just doing the Vaults of Glass raid over and over and over again. I guess because everything's about to change pretty soon. And it's my friend George who plays. I think he got the exotic. Everyone's trying to get the exotic out of that, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
The Vex Mythoclast gun.
Yeah, so everyone has it except for one guy. Shout out to Kyle, who has done it 42 times and does not have the gun yet. So yeah, he's over 42. He's getting pretty upset about it. So I hope he gets it before Tuesday, because boy, I would be upset if I did something 42 times, got nothing out of it.
That reminds me of, there's a raid group that we have where we all just do fun raids all the time, and we're pretty good. We haven't beat Vault of Glass yet, but there was one a couple of years ago where another Kyle St. James, wanted to get this gun called Anarchy. It's this really cool grenade launcher. And so he invited Matt and Dallas, some of the people that we play with, he invited them to raid with him. And he's like, hey, do you guys want to just like farm this raid over and over with me? I'm trying to get this grenade launcher. And they did it a bunch. And he didn't get it at all. Every single time, he couldn't get it. And Matt got it twice while they were playing. And he was so pissed. He's like, I invited you to this thing so I could get it, and you get it 2 times. And it's not something you could like trade with players or anything like that. You can't give it to somebody. It's just like, fucking sucks for you. But
man, I remember playing Division 2, and my friends, they were like, I played it and I had fun with the story when I was done. They were doing the grinding thing afterwards, and we kept running the same thing to get whatever the gun is. I don't remember anymore. The Devastator, the Liberator, it's Washington D.C., whatever they decided to pick. And yeah, we kept doing it. We did that thing like probably 10 times, and it's like, oh, I got it. and no one else had it, and this was the 10th time. I'm like, oh, I got it. Well, you want this? I don't care. First, like, please give it to me, because I think in that game you can actually share loot or give people stuff for some reason, or I don't know what it was, but I gave it to him. I was like, take it. I really don't care. You're the one who wants to play this over and over again. So I know the struggle, because I've been there when people have struggled for it. So, I just wish that. I mean, unless the games are made to have you play them over and over again, but if it was like, yo, you've done this 10 times, it's guaranteed on the 10th time or something, that would be great. So you don't just have to do it 42. I would never play that game 42 times.
That's too many times.
42.
They also, what's fun, like for most content in Destiny, like exotic weapons and stuff like that drop, like their drop rates are cumulative. So if you don't get it the first time, you have a slightly better chance of getting it the second time, and a slightly better chance until eventually you have a 100% chance of getting it. And 42 sounds like it's way too many times. You should have had a 100% chance by then. Yeah,
they were talking about his luck percentage going up by 1%. I don't know. Whatever. I hope he gets it, because he was not feeling it. But new content will be good. So what's the season going to be if the expansion is until the beginning of the next year?
Well, they thankfully, like they announced that it was getting delayed 6 months ago or something like that. So they've been able to plan for this extra season for a while. So they have some story content, some storylines that just wrapped up with this character's called the Vex, and we're going in and like hacking their mind and keeping them. And we found out that this Witch Queen was kind of at the center of that whole plot. So I feel like this next season that's coming up is going to be just all about setting up the arrival of this Witch Queen that we've been waiting for. They even told us that the expansion is called the Witch Queen years ago, and in fact, we even know the name of the one after that a couple of years from now. So like, they've got this all planned out, which is really cool. But what's also cool about this season is that they will, for the first time, be opening up crossplay. So Xbox can play with PlayStation, can play with PC. There won't be like support for some basic things like in-game chat. So you'll have to use like Discord or something like that in order to chat with each other. But it's cool that that's finally a thing, because that limits our raid group a little bit too, because people prefer playing on Xbox, and then, I don't have the new expansion on PlayStation, so I can't play with you. But so yeah, lots of cool things coming with this season, but it feels like it's going to wrap up one story before it dives into the next one.
Cool. Crossplay is always good. Everything needs to do that.
Yep.
All right. So next time, I'm going to read through this, and I'm going to tell you how I want to finish this out, all right?
Okay.
Opening night live. Gamescom. The Jeff Keighley show. Ending. What did I say? Closing the opening?
Closing the summer with opening night live.
Opening, yeah. It's something clever. I can't remember anymore. So that's on Wednesday. It's been confirmed as 2 hours and more than 30 games. We're going to talk about some of the big, because this is a big one. It really, Opening Night Live is kind of big, sort of like whatever. I might have also been called Opening Night Live. The one he did at E3 where they showed Souls game that everyone cares about with George R. R. Martin.
Yeah. What was that called?
God, I should know this.
That was part of Summer Games Fest.
Some games, the opening of Summer Game Fest. He's now closing the show. We should get a lot of big announcements. Jeff Keighley's all about announcements. Last year, just to name off some things that showed, Doom Eternal DLC, Dragon Age 4, World of Warcraft Shadowlands, Crash Bandicoot 4, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, the VR game, and extended Ratchet and Clank demo. So those are some of the big things that we got last year. Now I'm going to go through these one by one, and you can talk to me after each of them if you want to, or you can swipe left. Wait, is there left or right?
Left is say no. Swipe right is say yes.
Only swipe if you don't want to talk about it. All right. So these are I went through Jeff Keighley's Twitter from the last week and a half, and I went through every little thing that he commented on, everything he retweeted on, and I pulled all these announcements out. And then, 30 minutes after I did that, he just posted a hype video that showed basically everything was going to be there. Whatever. It's all good. First up on the list, there is a tweet from Drinkbox Studios, makers of Guacamelee, and God, what was the most recent one that they did?
The swipe Severed.
Yeah, they have Severed.
And they did Guacamelee too, as well. Oh, and then yeah, you're right. They had another one that came out recently.
That's something more recent. I can't think about it. I'm a bad person. It's all good. Guacamelee is great. Go play that.
Yeah.
There's a tweet from Drinkbox Studios, which was retweeted by Jeff, so it's on his thing, and it's just them doing the eye emoji. At an announcement of like one of the hosts who's going to be at Open Night Live. So Drinkbox responded to Jeff Keighley's announcement of someone who's going to be there, and there's eyes, and he retweeted it.
It is.
AKA I think Drinkbot's going to be there, but whatever.
For those who are curious, the host that they're pointing to is Kyle Bossman, who is from who previously from Easy Allies. He's frequently on the pre-show for Keeley stuff, but he's fantastic. He's one of my favorite people in the gaming industry. He's hilarious.
And Drinkbox, commented, and
Drinkbox
Jeff Keighley went out of his way. Yep. Can you please look up for me the last game that they did?
Yes,
I feel so
100%.
bad. I'm like, what is it? It's not Guacamelee 2. It's something else. But did you have anything to say about that? I mean, they're going to be at the show.
Yeah, there's no clues to like what it is, but I am a big fan of everything that they do because like I platinum severed. I loved Guacamelee 1. Guacamelee 2 is like one of the best, platformers I think of all time. Metroidvania-ish. I guess. So I'm looking on here. They have on their website 5 games that they've done: Mutant Blobs Attack, Guacamelee, Severed, Guacamelee 2, and Nobody Saves the World. Those are the only games they list.
Interesting.
Oh, but it says
Maybe
coming
that's what
2021 to Steam and Xbox. Maybe that's what we'll see.
Nobody Saves the World. That's the one we saw, I think, earlier this year or sometime last year that looked really, really cool. Actually, because I think it's on my fantasy video game league that I'm in. I think I have that game. So, yes, that game looks very interesting, and we're probably going to get more about it today, or Wednesday. So, first playthrough of Call of Duty Vanguard, which I believe is single-player content, but the first gameplay playthrough with guest Laura Bailey. So, we get the announcement the game's coming out, and then a couple of days later, here's going to be gameplay of it.
All right. That's usually how that goes, too, right? And whenever it's E3, like, they usually make an announcement about, hey, here's the Call of Duty's going to be this year, and then we see, like, gameplay at PlayStation's
That, like, PlayStation or whatever. Yeah. So that's the move for them. They're doing it here this year. This one, we'll talk off air. I know a little about this that I can't talk about.
All right.
Saints Row, in quotations, rebooting, which this is confirmed that Saints Row is going to be there. If you go to the website or click on the link that's in his Twitter, it takes you to saintsrow.com, and it's just a wall that has graffiti that says rebooting on it, and it's just the Saints Row website. So we're getting some sort of reboot of Saints Row. I love that series. It's a great time. Next is, this is the fun one. There's a game from Massive Monster and Devolver Digital. I include this because it's from Devolver, and Devolver normally does bangers.
Yep.
This is my exact description of this game. It appears to be some sort of cartoon cat Cthulhu cult simulator.
I don't want to see this game. I want you to watch this game, and then I want you to detail everything that you see about it from the reveal at Opening Night Live.
Here's what I'll tell you.
It all with that.
It's a cartoonish art style. It involves cats. Something to do with Cthulhu and cult sort of things, and I think it's simulating all of that. So, cartoon cat Cthulhu cult simulator. No, it looked really cool. It was like a 20-second video, but it's a bunch of dark people chanting, and there's a tentacle or whatever. But it looks like a cute little it looks interesting. Again, Devolver, it doesn't matter what it is. Devolver puts out stuff that's normally fun. So we'll check that out. This one has been a long time coming, ain't it? New look at Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Skywalker Saga. Lego Star Wars. Man, this game's supposed to come out last year, and it looked so good. I've loved those games back in the day. This one looks super solid, and then they just kept delaying it. I mean, things happened that are out of their control, but we're supposed to get a brand new look information about Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. You hear it all about Legos or Skywalker.
I totally forgot about this game completely. I guess because, that whole saga is completed in the movie, so I've mentally moved on, and that's not Star Wars. Well, it's past Star Wars. It's not future Star Wars to me, so I feel like the game doesn't really matter to me anymore, but yeah, it's going to be huge when it comes out.
Yeah, I just liked how it looks like they've completely reinvented the way that Lego games play, which is what interests me. It's like, this is completely different from just like, let's run around this area and shoot stuff. It looks a lot more interesting to me, and I haven't played a good Lego Star Wars game in a long time, so I had to check that out. World premiere and news on Splitgate. Apparently, they got so big over the last couple of months, they're like, yo, get us in there, Keeley. We got you. We're the ace in the hole. And
I love that they also just announced that, like, hey, we were going to come out of beta, but now we're just going to be in beta indefinitely, and we're never going to release.
Until we feel like coming out. Yep.
Yep.
We'll stay here. God, this one I'm so excited for. Announcement and new look at TMNT Shredder's Revenge from the team that made Streets of Rage 4 .emu. This game again got announced earlier this year. Side scroller beat 'em up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's nothing else I could ask for.
That's nostalgia right there. Pure nostalgia.
Ah, man, it'll be good. We're gonna get news on Sifu, which is the game I'm most disappointed got delayed because, man, I wanted to play that game a lot. That is a PlayStation exclusive, got delayed, but we're getting news on it. So maybe a more firm release date. Like I think they just said 2022. Maybe it's like January 2022. I don't know. Don't care. The game looks great. I'm gonna play it.
Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
Yep. This is exactly how it's written in the document, and I wrote this in the document on purpose. Updates on Genshin Impact, I suppose. Well, I said I guess, but I wanted to sound smarter.
Suppose, yeah, it sounds like the British version of guess.
It's a big game. People love it. Have fun.
Yeah, I've never played it. I don't think I ever will, but it's huge.
Yeah. I want you to read this next one and read it the exact way that I have it written out.
The next character for Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania? Oh my gosh. I just learned today that there are other characters other than Monkey in Super Monkey Ball. So
yeah, these are all tweets from Jeff Keighley. Like, this was specifically pointed out by Jeff Keighley about a new character for Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. The last one announced was the guy from Yakuza.
It's so weird for me to think about some guy from Yakuza running around in a monkey ball collecting bananas on a game course. Like, that's Sega, man. Sega. They do weird stuff.
Have fun. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a wild... okay, if you could think of who you would want here, Sonic's off the table because he's so obvious. What is the other character you would like in Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania?
I guess that it makes sense for Yakuza, because Yakuza is also Sega, right?
Yeah.
So it would have to be another Sega game, which I can't think of any. Sega games. Let's see.
While you look that up, I'll go ahead and say Big's the cat. Throw him in that big old cat.
Oh, hell yeah.
A monkey ball.
And he trips and he just ends up rolling in the ball. Yep. All right.
Absolutely.
Oh, Bayonetta could be an option, I guess, because Bayonetta's Sega.
She's just naked in a ball with her hair wrapped around her body.
You just giant witch boot comes and kicks the ball down the course.
I don't know. It's Sega. I mean, they make cool stuff sometimes, but it's just wild.
Fighter, probably someone from Virtua Fighter. I don't know.
Get a dude kicking a ball or whatever. It's just funny how they pointed out, like, yo, we've got the next character reveal for Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. And people just went. Someone, Keighley, tweeted a picture of Kojima in a Super Monkey Ball because, they're best buddies or whatever.
I hope it is. And I hope that he has to, anytime someone plays as Kojima, they can only play one at a time because he has to actually go into a simulator and run around on the ball. That's his job with Jeff Keighley now that he's contracted out to do.
He's like, it's a social experience where I get to be in the monkey ball. And then to end it all, like I said, as I was doing all my research, Jeff Keighley dropped a hype trailer, which just showed off a bunch of gameplay for games that are confirmed to be there. Gamescom itself retweeted and was like, yeah, this stuff's going to be here. And then GameRant.com went through and was like, hey, this is what this... Because it's a bunch of 5-minute clips, 2 seconds, whatever. Game Rant went through and was like, hey, pointed out some of the ones that I missed. But in that hype video, we have Far Cry 6, Psychonauts 2, Death Stranding Director's Cut, Battlefield, Fall Guys, Artful Escape, Rider Republic, Forza Horizon 5, Back 4 Blood, and then the things that I've talked about before, because clearly they're going to be at the show. So we got a nice little list. It's a solid show, man. I'm excited. I mean, I was going to, watch a recap anyways, but maybe I'll try to watch this live because there's a lot of cool things in here.
Yeah. This is inherently the issue with new and announcements. I'm looking at all of this is like, oh man, this is already stuff we know about. There's not gonna be anything new. And it's like, obviously he's not gonna tweet about something new or else it's no longer new and it's gonna spoil the surprise. So yes, all of these are things that we know about, and some of these are things that we've known about and seen for years that it doesn't really excite me to see their Far Cry 6 on there or to see Fall Guys or something like that. But obviously there are going to be some new announcements and world premiere stuff. So I'll probably still catch it live.
Yeah, Saints Row was, and they just decided to do that one early, I suppose. But that's a reboot of Saints Row is a big get. I mean, the fact that they were willing to show us that, why'd they choose that one? What other
Especially
things did they have up their sleeve?
In a time when I feel like the Saints Row and like that open world, like GTA, like those types of games used to come out all the time. And now it's just like the last GTA game we got was almost a decade ago with GTA 5. And so with Saints Row coming back in a big way and rebooting, whatever that might mean, I feel like that's really exciting for people who are a fan of those types of games. Like, we're giving you something new in the space that's not just a couple extra things in GTA 5 every couple of years.
Yeah, I think it was Brian Altano from IGN tweeted, is like, yo, we used to get clones of GTA all the time, and now we just don't get anything anymore. Like, we used to get, I think a single year we get, a GTA game, then Sleeping Dogs, and then a Saints Row 2 or whatever. And it's like, now you don't get any of it. So I'm happy for this to come back, because I want to just run around and be silly. And like you said, most open world, you don't really get that type of like, I'm in our urban city running around doing crimes kind of game anymore. So
and it's not like you can say, oh, those types of games don't sell, because look at GTA 5.
The best selling games of all time. Yeah. So I'm excited for opening night live. I don't what's the time? 10:30 PT, which means
that's
what's it, 6:30 Eastern? No, wait a minute. Yeah, because they're behind us. That's right. Okay, so 1 in the afternoon. I'm about to say 6 o'clock in the morning, not going to happen. But I can't do math. 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Okay, I actually might be able to sit down and watch this. But it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's like a full conference, pretty much. That'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. Plenty to talk about that next week. But that's all I got for your quest logs and your main logs and your main quests. That's all we got today for the news portion of the show. But we do have more stuff coming up. We have a segment where we got on Twitter and said, "Hey, give us a question. I don't care. Let us know what you want to talk about."
Revival of the segment called Subscriber Interrogatives. We haven't had one of these in
God, you're right.
So long. There we go.
I forgot the name.
We'll reuse that name.
All right. So what is it?
Subscriber Interrogative.
Welcome to Subscriber Interrogatives, everybody. You have the list in front of you because I don't have Twitter open. So
I don't, but I have my memory. So we have two questions. We went out to Twitter a few hours ago and said, hey, we're recording. We need some questions from y'all. One came in from Cozy Bear, Alex Cozina. Go follow him at twitch.tv/Cozy Bear. Cozy Bear Live. Yeah, it's Cozy Bear Live. He asked us, what is the boba tea of video games?
I need you to explain to me what boba tea is.
So boba tea, I'm pretty sure, is the same thing as bubble tea, which I'm pretty sure is like the milky drink with the balls of tapioca pudding at the bottom. And you drink it with the straw that's like the size of like a Chinese finger trap.
Yeah.
Is that a name we can't use anymore? I don't know.
I don't know. That's the thing my kid got at the mall. He's like, they have boba tea. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So what is the... Right. I guess I'll take this however I want. Like, what is the thing that is a luxury that goes down? I'm just going to say, what's the milkshake of video games? Because I prefer milkshakes to boba tea.
If you are curious about boba tea, go on Hinge or Bumble and look at every single woman's thing. And they love boba tea, and they have pictures of them drinking boba tea, and they all love hiking. But I'm going to read to you from Wikipedia. Bubble tea, also known as pearl milk tea, bubble milk tea, tapioca milk tea, or boba, is a tea-based drink from Taiwan in the early 1980s. Most commonly, it consists of tea accompanied by chewy tapioca balls. But it can be made with other toppings as well. Made with varieties like black pearl milk tea and green pearl milk tea. Pearl signifies the tapioca at the bottom. But yeah, they look like different types of tea just with pudding balls at the bottom. And you drink it through a giant straw so you can get the pudding balls through the straw.
Yeah, what does that mean in video game form?
What's kind of like thin and liquidy and milky, but every once in a while you suck up a nice dense ball full of good pudding. What's
a video game that calms your stomach is the way that I would probably look at this game. Or this question.
Okay. Flour.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can see that.
Flour.
I'm going to say Sea of Thieves. Just get on the ocean and listen to the waves go. Tapioca. That's what that reminds me of.
And the cannons are the big wide straws, and the cannonballs, boom. You nailed it.
I mean,
Way to go, man.
it's basically a perfect answer. I would also maybe say, I don't know, Evil Within, perhaps.
Okay. I'm trying to think of something where you might pick up a bunch of orbs or balls or things like that as like collectibles in the game. And I think right away of like Halo skulls. Like every once in a while you'll find a skull. I guess it's a delightful treat in an otherwise milky game.
Oh, you know what it is?
What?
The boba tea of video games is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Because it's nice and calming, but as a 30-year-old dad, I have no idea what it is, and I don't care. But all the kids love it. The kids loved it at the time, but nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
There we go. That's bubble tea.
You gotta play as the Big Daddy. Man, what a game. You gotta play as a Big Daddy from BioShock. And Nathan Drake
kicking barrels over. Parappa the Rapper?
I'm gonna break out my PlayStation Vita and play that a little bit for a good 4 minutes.
I would love it too, but this time just make it Smash Brothers. Don't try to deviate a little bit. Don't go 98%. Just go 100%.
Yeah,
just be Smash.
Coward.
Yeah, that's my bubble tea. Either Evil Within or PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Perfect. Number 2 comes from Darby Hallman, whose Twitter handle I can't remember right now, but go search for him. And he asks us, what is the best font in a video game?
You know my answer. We talked about this before the show.
So I can think of 2 games off the top of my head that like really stand out for their fonts. One is Firewatch, because it like everything about that game is really super stylized and really great. By the way, go to twitter.com/DarbyHallman1 to follow Darby. So everything about that game is super stylized, but the font and the text treatments really stood out to me. And in fact, it inspired me to steal them. So they are what you will find in much of our Affable Idiots stuff. Like, in fact, our names on the screen right now, Adam and Chad, are written in Fairlog, which is the same font that they use in Firewatch. So I fucking love that. But also the second one that stands out to me is Control. And when you like enter a new area in Control and the name of it, just giant fucking letters right in the middle of the screen. The giant
splash on it? Yeah. Yep. That's absolutely the right answer. 100%. Yep. That is like the best part. You're like, oh, I'm now in the mailroom.
I've never been so excited to see a mailroom, but this is the coolest one ever.
And that's very good fun. Yeah. I don't know the game that does it, but anything with Comic Sans is A-okay in my book. I know people hate it. I don't understand. I only used it as a child and never looked at it again, but I liked it as a kid. So any video game daring enough to use Comic Sans is a win in my book. I'll buy it right now. I'm going to
do a quick Google search and see if there are any like reputable video games.
Reputable? Well, probably not. If we're talking about Comic Sans.
Video games that use Comic Sans. There's a whole giant bomb article about Comic Sans in video games. Undertale apparently does.
Wow. All right. Good game because of that.
There's a game called Typewriter. Oh, I remember when that game came out. It's all about fonts. Kingdom Hearts Recoded apparently has some Comic Sans in it. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts for the menu and dialogue text.
That's a 90s game, absolutely. Oh, no, that's early 2000s. Yeah, makes sense.
Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut.
Smart directors.
Right. Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Wow, there are a lot of games that have Comic Sans in them. That's gross.
Everything you named on that list, top of my list. We actually, are you on the Twitter? Because I found another question. If you want me to ask it.
No, I'm not on the Twitter right now. Go for it.
I'm looking at it. This is from Nerds at Large. At Nerds at Large. What video game character knows why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Excuse me.
Who knows about the Cinnamon Toast Swirls in every bite?
What video game character?
Cinnamon Sugar Swirls in every bite. Who's the smartest video game character?
That's what I'm thinking of. I don't want to use like an already established character. Like you can't be like Professor X is in X-Men Legends and he would know. Because he just read the kid's mind and figure out why they love it so much.
I'm looking at... Okay, so again, Giant Bomb has a list of smartest video game characters. Nathan Drake is number 5 on that list?
Really?
No, sir. Ada Wong from Resident Evil is number 7. And then I just don't recognize anyone else on that list. It would have to be someone science-y. Like,
yeah, I'm thinking of scientist.
Clank, maybe, from Ratchet and Clank.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, there's another list here, and Clank is number 2 on smartest things.
There you go. I'm gonna say that Legion from Mass Effect. He's so deep, and as a sentient, non-organic being, I'm sure he, dives deep into why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So I think either Legion or the Reapers know why kids, and that's why
definitely the Reapers do.
That's why they're coming to destroy the universe, because they know why.
Because they want that bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and they need to kill all the kids so they can have it to themselves.
Absolutely, the Reapers. There you go. That's a perfect answer.
I get it. All right.
That's all we have.
That's it. Thank you, everyone, for writing in for those subscriber interrogatives. That brings us to our Game on Game Show. The Game on our Gaming Show, we play a game called Game On. The gaming show called Game. We have a Game on Game Show here today. It is in the theme of, Call of Duty has been top of mind the last couple of weeks with Vanguard leaks and now Vanguard confirmation. And I feel like this is a good one for you and I to play specifically because we're not Call of Duty people necessarily. And so it's a game called Is Call of Duty Good? Mm-hmm. And it's something that Holden and I have played a couple times before, where I have 10 Call of Duty games, the last 10 major releases from Call of Duty, and I have them in a spreadsheet. And you and I are going to guess what the Metacritic score is for that release.
Metacritic specifically,
not OpenCritic. And there'll be some caveats in here. I'll make sure that, we're using the highest of the platforms that are out. So if it was reviewed on multiple platforms, I think that's all the rules that we have to do. So you and I are going to guess. We'll take turns going first and second of where we think these landed on Metacritic, and then at the end of it, we'll see how close we were. And in general, do we think they're good just based on the scores that we gave them? So again, this is not what you would rate these games. This is what do you think other people thought of these games?
Okay, I can do this.
All right, so we're going to go through, again, it's the 10 most recent releases. So everything from Black Ops to today with Black Ops Cold War. So starting and ending with Black Ops. And I'll let you go first. We're starting with Call of Duty Black Ops. Came out in 2010. What do you think that scored on Metacritic? And again, I'm not seeing these. You guess, then I guess, and then I'll look up the score for it.
Black Ops was a big deal. People really liked it. I remember getting 9s all over the place. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go 91 on Metacritic.
A 91 on Metacritic.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like that one was a huge hit.
This is, I can already tell, is going to be awful for me because all of these blend together in my head and I don't know any of them from the others. So, but I do remember Black Ops being like maybe one of the first ones that deviated from traditional World War II stuff. I don't know. That's what I'm going to say it is. And people were really interested in it because of it. So I'm going to say, and they tend to review really well anyway. So I'll give it one more point. I'll give it a 92. That way, whatever it ends up at, I'm like pretty close and I won't be super far behind. Call of Duty Black Ops. Uh-oh. Okay. How am I gonna do this without getting all the scores of all the other games that also start with Black Ops?
Oh.
I'm gonna type Call of Duty Black Ops Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And see what
or
that
maybe
brings
the year.
up. That brought up nothing.
Type in 2011.
2011. That brought up literally a blank screen.
That doesn't make any sense.
This might be a big old stinker of a game until I can figure out how to do this better maybe for next time. 2010, nope, nothing.
If you see it, it is just type in Black Ops and just try to pay attention to only the first one. If you see, it is what it is.
Wonderful. Metacritic is shitting the bed. We're going to go to OpenCritic.
All right.
And if that doesn't work, then we'll move on from Game on Game Show. We'll wrap up the show.
There we go.
All right, here we go again. Call of Duty. I did not think this ahead of time. Did not think this through. Call of Duty Black Ops. Oh, here we go. I like this. In their search bar, they have a drop down, and I can choose specifically which one I'm looking for first.
Nice.
Great.
That'll be good.
Although there are so many options that it's just... They only show me like 17 versions of Black Ops 3 before it goes away. So let's look it up. Nope. OpenCritic is just showing me Black Ops 4 stuff. All right. That's it for Game on Game Show. We'll come back next time with something a little bit. Maybe I'll get someone to look up these scores for us ahead of time. That way we don't look at them.
Get someone to give us a list.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Hey, Nerds at Large Gaming in the chat. What's up? Sloth with Wings. Nice. Thanks for the question earlier about Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
The taste you can see.
The taste you can see. That's what it is. Damn it. I was trying to think of the catchphrase. This game is dead. Long live the game. Yes. Thank you very much. In fact, Nerds at Large, you have just now volunteered to be our person that puts together this list for us next time of all of these games' Metacritic scores. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
That brings us to the end of our show. Adam, do you want to take us out, or you want me to wrap us up?
You could do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. You have some pieces of homework to do. The first of which is to go to patreon.com/respawn-aim-fire, where you will see a new poll. If you're listening to this on Tuesday, it will definitely be there. If you're listening to this before Tuesday, like live right now, like Nerds at Large Gaming in the chat, it's not there yet, but pretend it is. And then remember to come back tomorrow. Go to patreon.com/respawn-aim-fire, vote for next barf game for September, see what we're going to be playing. We'll have 4 choices there. You can also go sign up to be on game nights with us, get dope wallpapers for your devices. It's all just there for $1. You also should be playing Metroid Fusion. If you are a patron, play it. If you're not a patron, still fucking play it. Find a way to play it. However that's possible. And then write in your thoughts. I know Cozy usually writes them in. We usually forget to read it on the air, so I have to go in and like manually record something separately of me reading it and put it in the middle of the episode, pretend it didn't happen. But please, we promise, if you all write in this time, we'll do it. So go to play Metroid Fusion, write in your thoughts about the game. We'll read them on the show as we discuss it. And I think that's it.
That's on my list. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Until next time, here's our usual sign-off. What do you think sneezes sound like in Australia? Do you think they're backwards?